Welcome back to the Robert Stone Club. Today, we are taking a hard look at a project that has absolutely rocked the market, ZEROBASE. We're talking about brilliant, next-level technology backed by some of the biggest names you can imagine that then suffered one of the most catastrophic failures we've seen. So the question is simple. Is your money safe here, or is this the setup for the trap of a lifetime?
Just look at this chart. It is a total bloodbath. ZBT launches on Binance in October. The hype is insane, and it rockets past $1. Fast forward just 2 months, a brutal 93% collapse. Fortunes were just vaporized. This is the kind of chart that keeps even the most seasoned traders up at night.
So you have to ask yourself, how does something like this even happen? And more importantly for us, what's the smart money play right now? Are we looking at a dead project or trap designed to lure in unsuspecting retail money? Or is this the kind of blood in the streets that signals a generational buying opportunity? By the end of this, you'll know how to decide. Let's dive in.
Now, to really understand ZEROBASE and its collapse, you first have to understand the enormous problem it was designed to solve. We're talking about a trillion-dollar paradox, a problem that keeps the real heavy hitters, the hedge funds, the major banks, from truly entering the world of DeFi.
This right here is the heart of the problem. You've got two extremes, and neither of them work for big institutions. On one side, you've got something like Ethereum. Think of it like a public diary that anyone can read, written in permanent ink. For a trading firm, that's just suicide. It's like a professional poker player laying all their cards face up on the table. Everyone sees your strategy, and they front-run you into oblivion. Then, on the other extreme, you have total anonymity coins, like Monero. Well, for regulators, that's a black box, a complete non-starter. Institutions can't go anywhere near it. And this is where ZEROBASE was supposed to change the game. They came in with what many have called the holy grail for institutional crypto, verifiable private computation. Put simply, it's the power to prove that you did something correctly, say you ran a complex trade, without ever showing anyone your secret sauce. This is the key that was supposed to unlock that trillion-dollar institutional vault.
Okay, so how did they actually pull this off? Well, it wasn't magic. It was a very, very clever piece of engineering. They built what they call a hybrid engine, which makes a really important trade-off. It sacrifices just a little bit of pure cryptographic theory for a massive, massive boost in real-world speed and performance.
Let me break this down for you. Imagine you need to prove you have $1 million, but you don't want to show anyone your private bank statement. So instead, you go to your bank manager, who writes and notarizes a letter that just says, "Yes, I can confirm the funds are there." That's exactly what ZEROBASE does. The heavy lifting, the computation, happens inside a secure hardware vault. That's the bank manager's office. Then it spits out a simple, lightweight proof. That's your notarized letter. It's fast, it's efficient, and most importantly, it's private.
All right, so the technology sounds like a game changer. So what on earth happened? Now we get to the part of the story where everything went horribly wrong. Let's put on our detective hats and do a proper forensic analysis of what really caused this collapse. We need to separate the facts from the fear.
Okay, I need you to pay very close attention, because this is the single most important technical detail of this entire breakdown. The core technology, the smart contracts, the encryption, it was never ever breached. The attack was on the website, the user interface. It's like a thief putting a fake sign on a different building to trick you into thinking it's your bank. The real bank vault was always secure. People were just tricked at the front door. For a smart money analysis, that distinction changes everything.
But the plot thickens. The hack itself is one thing, but what happened next in the markets was just bizarre. It raises some very serious questions about who exactly was buying and selling in the chaos that followed.
Let's just look at the raw data, because these numbers tell a wild story. At the end of December, the entire project was valued at around $30 million. But on some days, the 24-hour trading volume was over $200 million. The volume was more than 5 times the entire value of the network. It's like seeing a tiny little restaurant with a massive line around the block, a line that's way too big for the size of the place. It just doesn't add up, and it screams that something else is going on behind the curtain.
And we weren't the only ones who noticed. This quote from a professional research report absolutely nails it. This kind of activity is a textbook sign of one of two things, either pure, wild speculation or something much more sinister, like sophisticated wash trading designed to create a false picture of demand. Either way, it's a huge red flag.
So, you have a security crisis, and you have deeply suspicious trading activity. But believe it or not, neither of those might be the biggest risk on the table. There is an economic time bomb, and it's ticking away on the calendar as we speak. This is what smart money is really watching.
take a look at this chart. This shows you who owns the tokens, and your eyes should go directly to these two big slices right here. Team and advisors at 20% and early investors at over 11%. You combine those and you have over 31% of the entire supply in the hands of insiders.
And here's why that is so incredibly important. Look at this timeline. There is one date that should be circled in bright red on your calendar, October 2026. This is known as the vesting cliff. I like to call it the day the floodgates are set to open. It's when the handcuffs finally come off for all those insiders.
You want to know how big that flood could be? How about this number? Over 312 million tokens. That's how much the team and the early investors will be able to start selling on the open market starting on that date. That is a potential tsunami of selling pressure. And remember, the market doesn't wait for the tsunami to hit. It starts pricing it in months ahead of time.
Okay, we've laid it all out on the table. The genius tech, the catastrophic failure, and the ticking time bomb. So what do we do with all this information? How do we navigate this? Let's put together a simple, actionable, smart money playbook.
Remember, complexity is the enemy. So let's cut through all the noise and just focus on two critical metrics going forward. Number one, real usage. Is real money, institutional money, actually using their main product? You track this with one number, total value locked, or TVL. Is it growing or is it flat? And number two, stability. Can this team go a few quarters in a row without another major security incident? They have to rebuild trust, period.
So, we come back to where we started. The final verdict really comes down to two very different, competing stories. The bull case is that the revolutionary tech works, it solves that trillion-dollar problem, and if they regain trust, ZBT becomes an absolute monster in institutional DeFi. But the bear case is just as powerful. The hack permanently destroyed trust, and that 2026 vesting cliff creates a death spiral of selling that the project simply cannot escape.
So here's the final thought I'll leave you with. ZEROBASE is the perfect storm. You have genius-level technology meeting catastrophic operational failure. It is an extremely high-risk, high-reward situation. The real question for smart money isn't if the technology is good. We know it is. The real question is when, or perhaps even if, all of this massive risk finally gets priced into the market. Stay disciplined and join our Telegram for real-time signals. Let's make moves.